Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Subhanaka la 'ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Okay, inshallah, today we will be talking on a topic about jinn possession versus mental health. First of all, when we talk about health, we always think about the opposite. If we talk about peace, we talk about war. We think about war. So when you talk about health, you think about diseases. And when we talk about mental health, what comes to mind is mental illnesses or mental disorder. And the topic is mental health versus jinn possession, or jinn possession versus mental health. And the verses normally will associate it with winner or loser. This is not about winning or losing. This is about gaining knowledge, about mental health as well as jinn possession. First the terminologies, that we use, the definition that we use. I'm going to use the WHO definition. What is meant by mental health? So when we discuss anything, we must be clear about the definition. So mental health, according to WHO, is the mental health is a state of well-being in which an individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. So if we can realize our potential and we can cope with the normal stresses, everybody will have stress times in their life. So if we can cope with that, then we have a normal mental health. We're good. Our mental health is good. If we can't cope with normal daily stresses of life, then that might be a problem. And the word mental disorder, defined as mental disorder, comprise a broad range of problems with different symptoms. However, they are generally characterized by some combination of normal thoughts, emotions, behavior, and relationship with others. So this is what concerns a lot of people, when they can't function mentally. So we know some mental disorder, bipolar or schizophrenia or others. All right. There's another definition. All right. So disease, when we talk about disease, it is when the etiology, when the cause of the disease is known. Like when say COVID-19 is caused by coronavirus. And for disorder, the etiology is not known. When we say mental disorder, it means that we do not know the actual cause of the mental disorder. What causes schizophrenia, what causes bipolar, the actual cause is not known, but there are correlations. People study about mental disorder, they find some correlation. Correlation is something which correlates. Let's say I try to find the correlation of water in this bottle with Zoom presentations that I have. So every time I do a Zoom presentation, the water level in this bottle goes down. So there is a correlation that the water in this bottle goes down whenever I do a Zoom presentation. But that's not the cause why the water goes down, the level goes down. The actual cause is because I drank it. Mental disorder is when the etiology is not known. In Islam, we've got a different definition of mind. While in psychology, when you say mind, something in the brain, something which is abstract. Not the brain itself, the brain is something which is physical, but the mind is abstract. You can't take a picture of it. You know it's there, but you can't see it. But in Islam, the mind comprises of two faculties. One is the akal, and the other is the qalb. The qalb or the heart. So the akal is actually the intellect faculty, and the qalb, the heart, is the cognitive faculty. Whereas in the Western psychology, both the intellect and cognitive will be in the mind. The heart doesn't play anything. There's no importance of the heart in Western psychology. So where is the akal? Where is it? Where is it located? According to Imam Al-Ghazali, rahimahullah, the akal is actually in the heart. It's not in the brain, okay? It's not in the head. And the akal is actually in the heart. And even in the past, okay, human always consider that the akal is actually, the akal is actually in the heart, not in the head. How do you know that somebody has got a mental disorder? Okay, obviously we have to diagnose them. And like diseases, okay, you can diagnose diseases through symptoms. Let's say, how do you know that somebody has got COVID-19? Okay, through symptoms. Okay, when you have certain symptoms, then okay, it might be COVID-19. Just as one, it may be, until you confirm it. Right. So same as mental disorder, we can actually detect mental disorder through symptoms. There are scales, what you call instruments, that are used to diagnose whether somebody has got mental disorder, like DASS, Depression, Anxiety, Stress Scale, or Beck's Depression Inventory. By taking the symptoms of the person, you can actually know whether he or she suffers from depression, let's say. Whereas we can use the same concept as well. So in Jinn possession, we can also detect whether somebody has got Jinn possession or not with an instrument that we have developed, what we call the Pisang scale. Now, the definition of possession. Does possession actually exist? So I'm not going to give my definition. Okay, we can take it from the definition in the International Classification of Diseases, Revision 11. ICD-11 is actually a classification of diseases by WHO. Okay, so all doctors, all psychologists, they know about ICD-11. There is a disorder in ICD-11 which is called the possession trance disorder. Possession trance disorder is characterized by trance state in which there is a marked alteration in the individual's state of consciousness, and the individual's customary sense of personal identity is replaced by an external possessing identity, and in which the individual's behavior or movements are experienced as being controlled by the possessing agent. In this definition, okay, uses the external possessing identity, okay, and that external possessing identity is what we call Jinn in Islam. So Jinn possession is when somebody is being possessed, okay, being controlled by a Jinn. You can have a trance state, okay, not necessarily that when the Jinn is there you will be possessed 24/7, okay, you have trance 24/7. No, it's only when you have an episode where the Jinn overpowers you and take control of you, then you have the trance state. So is Jinn possession a reality or myth? Okay, we have discussed this previously. If you want to know about it, okay, there's a video, it's almost 2 hours long, which we have produced. You can go to our website, pisang.uk, or our Pisang YouTube channel, and you can look at that. Okay, so what causes Jinn possession? Different people will classify it into different categories. For me, okay, we define it into 9 categories. The first and most common one everybody talks about is sihr, okay, which is sorcery or black magic, and this is actually a contract by the magician to harm somebody secretly using the Jinn as an intermediary. Okay, so all sihr uses Jinn, okay, to harm somebody. So one case, like there's an example of sihr which happened in the case in the hospital. Okay, the patient had nails. Okay, when I say nails, metal nails. All right. Okay, before the surgeon removed it, he made an X-ray of these nails and then did a surgery on it, removed everything, and 2 days later, more nails appeared in the patient's leg. So it's mysterious. It happened in the hospital environment, and logically, okay, scientifically, you can't prove it. Okay, it doesn't make sense at all. It defies the laws of physics. Okay, but it happened. So this is what called sihr. Okay, so sihr is a reality. It's a reality. If metal objects can enter human body, Jinn, which is non-metal, non-solid, is matter which we still do not know what it's made from, can obviously enter the human body. Okay, so there are 9 categories which I've laid down. Sihr, the other one is susuk. This is common in Southeast Asia, which is beauty charms, where unlike sihir, okay, so the person knowingly allows the magician to put in metal objects, needles, pin and needle into the face, so as to attract the opposite sex. Okay, as a beauty charm. Okay, and then you have jinn entering the human body for revenge or for evil intention, malicious intention, just passing by, seeing somebody and then just get into it for nothing, for fun or for evil, to deviate the human being, as Shaitan, the Iblis, has promised to deviate every son of Adam. Or simply the person just invite jinn, like playing Ouija board, to call jinn, or some martial arts, not all martial arts, some martial arts which uses jinn to give extraordinary strength to the person, or the jinn falling in love with the human, or the jinn which has been passed on from the parents or the grandparents or from the ancestors, which I had through. The reason for all this clarification is to make it easy to narrow down the cause of why the jinn enters a human body, so that you can find a therapy which is more suitable. Okay, so from the 9 you can say dismiss a few, and then you can narrow down, and that's very useful in therapy. So what are the symptoms of jinn possession? Okay, we have done a research on this based on 34 symptoms. It came out that 23 symptoms were significant and the remaining 11 were not significant. Okay, less significant. I wouldn't say not significant, it's less significant. So you have doubtful of Islam, strong attachment towards non-Islamic elements, loss of meaning of life, feeling suicidal, and lot of dreams. Okay, dreaming of falling from high place, dream of filthy place, dream of deserted road, dream of ghosts, dream of strange features, dream of poisonous animals, dream against Islam, and then disturbances during sleeping, laughing during sleeping, crying during sleep, and then you got paranoid, ill thoughts, loner, loss of ability to focus, extreme tiredness, aversion from remembering Allah, absent-mindedness, laziness, seeing things, hearing voices. As you see, some of these symptoms, they are psychological symptoms. So that's why if you go to a psychiatrist, okay, they will probably look at the symptoms and say, oh, you have a mental disorder. So obviously there are overlap symptoms, okay, symptoms which overlap between jinn possession and mental disorder. The way that we diagnose jinn possession is through all these symptoms, but we also look at the pattern during sleeping. Okay, so a lot of dreams and a lot of disturbances during sleeping. Whereas in psychology, when you diagnose mental disorder, you don't take into consideration about your dreams. So you have just one of that. Let's say you are a loner. Okay, it doesn't mean that you are having jinn possession. If you just 2, okay, probably you don't have to worry too much. Let's say you're lazy, you have got laziness, and then you're a loner. It could be something else. It doesn't really say that you have jinn possession. Okay, so you must have a minimum number of symptoms, okay, before you can be considered to have some concern to be suffering from jinn possession. So I would say if you have 3 symptoms from this, then you're on the borderline. It can be yes or no. 4 or more, then it's very likely that you have jinn possession. You have 6, 7, 8, 9, okay, then take it for granted that you have. Okay, you have to do something to try to sort out your problems. Okay, so when you look at the symptoms, okay, you must look at them from a perspective that it is something which is illogical. Okay, let's say doubtful of Islam. Okay, you believe in Islam, but the thoughts that come to you every now and then to doubt Islam and try to get rid of the thought. Okay, you do not know where that thought comes from, so that's a symptom. Or feeling suicidal. Let's say you're feeling suicidal. Why do you feel suicidal? If you got reason, let's say because of the COVID, because of the pandemic, your business has gone down, you feel that you can't live, then that's the reason. So this is not a symptom for jinn possession. This is psychological symptoms. You can explain why you feel suicidal. But if it's caused by jinn, then You can't rationalize that symptom. So why do you want to kill yourself? You have a good life, good family, there's no reason for you to kill yourself, but that thoughts of killing yourself keeps on coming in. So that's what you call symptoms. So each and every one of these symptoms must be something which is irrational. Loner. You're a sociable person, but suddenly your character change. You become a loner for no reason. You can't explain it. You've been hardworking, and then suddenly you just become lazy, and you do not know why you become lazy. If you have 4 or more, okay, it's a big concern that you should check yourself. If you have 3, then you can actually look at the less significant symptoms. If there are a lot of them there, that will probably pull you back into the confirmed state that, okay, there's a high possibility that you have got Jinn possession. Another way of looking at progress is by using our health assessment scale. Okay, this is a Pisang scale, but it gives numbers. Okay, so you can actually go to the website, register your email, and check your score. So if the score is 1.9 or above 1.9, okay, then very likely that you have got Jinn possession. If you've got 1.9, it's on the borderline. If you've got just less than 1 or less than 1.2, then nothing to worry about. Okay, how do you actually diagnose somebody who has got Jinn possession? Okay, what's the first thing that you should do? Okay, obviously the first thing is to establish whether there is Jinn in the body or not. Okay, and the simple answer, yes or no. Through the symptoms, okay, you can say with a high degree of confidence, yes or no. And then if you do ruqya with certain reaction, yes or no. But you don't even have to do ruqya, okay. Through the symptom itself, you can have a good understanding, okay, whether the person has got Jinn possession or not. So that is the first stage, okay, the first phase, to establish whether there is a Jinn in the body or not. You can go to the second stage, okay. If there is one, why did it enter? Okay, it can be one of the 9 reasons. But should you worry too much on this why? A lot of people actually come for treatment and say, I want to know who sent the Jinn, why did you come in? They're more concerned about phase 2. That why the Jinn comes in rather than phase 1. The focus of therapy should be on phase 1, okay. If you have got problem, let's say you've got viruses in your body, okay, what's the main concern? What's the focus? Is to get rid of the virus, to kill the virus. It's not to think about where did the virus come. Did it come from China, or did it come from Italy, or whatever, okay. That doesn't matter, okay. If the virus is dead, then you're well, you're okay. Okay, the same thing as Jinn possession. Don't worry too much where the Jinn comes from, why it came in. The main thing is to get rid of the Jinn. If the Jinn is gone, then you get your health back. You get your mental health back. So that should be the focus, okay. A lot of people worry too much on, okay, this sihr, or this is Jinn ashik, okay, Jinn who falls in love, or is this Jinn just coming for fun, whatever, okay. So that doesn't matter, okay. That's not the prime concern of therapy. Therapy is to get rid of the Jinn. By getting rid of the Jinn, your symptoms will go away. When we try to diagnose a disease or mental disorder, we have to look at whether there is Jinn in the body or not. And the easiest way is through the symptoms that I put down just now, okay, the 23 symptoms, significant symptoms, plus the 11 less significant symptoms, okay. Because Jinn, when Jinn is inside a human body, it can cause not only psychological disorder, problem to your mind, but it can also cause physical illnesses over a long period of time. Why? Because the Jinn is a living organism. It will have to eat something. When it eats something, okay, it will have to excrete something, and all this excretion of the Jinn are toxins to the body. So I want you to look at, okay, 2 case studies. One is about cluster, somebody who has got cluster headache. Okay, we look at the symptoms of Jinn possession. It's borderline. Okay, so yes or no, between yes or no. All right. The intensity of the cluster headache was so bad that nothing worked except morphine. Okay, he will only respond to morphine. Any other drugs, anything doesn't work. So only morphine will have been hospitalized, and Whenever he has got cluster headache, they have to give morphine for him to calm down, and then come back again. So we'll have many episodes. Okay, so he came for treatment, and then we diagnosed. Okay, so that is a possibility that this Jinn possession is a borderline. Okay, based on symptoms, and through treatment, Ruqyah treatment, over a period of time, okay, his cluster headache goes away, and he doesn't have to rely on morphine anymore. It's likely that the cluster headache was caused by the Jinn inside his body. And also another case, also there's a paper published on it. This is about eczema. Okay, so this young girl, if you can look at that, the eczema is very bad. It's very bad all over the body, not just the face. Okay, all over the body. So she called the ambulance. Parents called the ambulance, hoping that she'll be admitted to hospital. But because of the pandemic, okay, and the strain on the hospitals, all right, hospital beds, the ambulance didn't take her to the hospital. So what to do? So she tried Ruqyah therapy. She came to Pisang and had a 3-day intensive. Before therapy, that was her condition. And 4 days later, she was much better. Physically, you can see that her condition has improved over 4 days. When we look at the symptoms, okay, we studied symptoms, okay, her symptoms of Jinn possession was, I would say, confirmed according to symptoms, okay, according to the scale that we have, definitely that there's Jinn inside her. And it did manifest, okay, during the therapy on the second day, the Jinn did spoke, and then the Jinn came out. And when the Jinn has left, okay, obviously, the toxin being produced by the Jinn will be less. So we see an improvement over the 4-day period. And alhamdulillah, so she had a remarkable recovery after a very short period of time, which you can't explain in terms of medical terms, okay, how it happened. In 4 days, you can transform somebody who has got a very serious skin disorder to having a very good recovery in 4 days' time. Jinn not only can cause mental disorder, it can also cause physical illnesses if it's been in the body for a period of time. Okay, what's the effect of Jinn possession? Okay, when Jinn is inside the body, it can try to control the central nervous system. We got a mind of our own. The Jinn is also a being which has got a mind of its own. It will try to control the central nervous system of the human mind. So if the Jinn's mind is stronger than your mind, then it will be able to control everything, okay, all your body. It can raise your hand, it can make you shout, it can make you scream, it can make you say foul words, it can even make you collapse. It depends on how strong or how much the Jinn's mind can take control of your brain. Our body, our brain is just a body, it's just a shell, okay, it's just like a vehicle for our existence. Okay, in Islam, I think we have got our soul, we got our akal, we have got our qalb, we got our jasad, which is the body. Our body is just for existence on this earth. Okay, so our soul, even our soul, was created a long time before we were born, at the beginning of time, and then our soul goes into the mother's womb. From that realm of ruh, okay, the realm of the soul, it goes into the realm of the mother's womb, okay, where it joins with the flesh. And then the realm of this world, okay, now we are living, it's another realm. And then our soul will leave the body upon death, and it goes into the realm of the grave. And the soul will, after that, go to the realm of akhirat, in the hereafter. Our body is just for our existence on this earth. It's just like a car, okay, so you are the driver. You can have a carjacker who comes in and can take control of your vehicle. You might lose control. You want to turn right, you turn up turning left because the carjacker forces you to turn left. So it's all about power balance, okay? Whose mind is stronger? If the Jinn's mind is stronger, it has control over your body. If your mind is stronger, you can prevent the Jinn from controlling your body. So this conflict of minds between the Jinn's mind and the human mind causes mental disorder, can cause mental disorder. One of the causes of mental, it can make you see things which are unreal, have delusion, it can make you confused, can make you lazy, it can make you feel hopeless, everything, because there's another mind which is battling your own mind. So once the jinn is inside the body, obviously it will need to survive. It doesn't want to just come in and then goes out next day. No, it will probably try to secure its place so that it can control you if it enters your body. So for the jinn to survive, it will try to do all sorts of things so as to make the person, the victim, weak. For example, if you do a lot of zikr, read of Quran, do your prayers, everything, okay, that will probably cause the jinn to be weaker. It will try to distract you from your daily prayers, for remembering Allah. So by distracting you, then the jinn has got a better chance of survival inside the body. Filthy environment. Jinn likes filthy environment. It's the opposite of human. We human, if somebody throws something bad, bad smell in our room, let's say, we'll probably scream or shout and then probably go away. Okay, we don't like anything which is filthy. But the jinn is the opposite. When the environment in the body is filthy, okay, or the environment that we live in is filthy, that's an environment which is conducive to the jinn, but make ourselves weaker. So the jinn will like that. To be a loner. Okay, we human, we like to socialize. Okay, we have friends, we exchange ideas, we advise others. Sometimes we advise things which are good, and most of the time we get good advice. So if the jinn can make us a loner, then the jinn has got the chance to influence the person, so that the person has got no other choice but listen to what the jinn says. So there can be conversation between the person and the jinn. Sometimes this conversation is not known by the person. The person doesn't realize. It just comes as strong thoughts, but talking to yourself. Okay, let's say, okay, what shall I do? Okay, what shall I do now? Let's go to the shop. What do we buy? What shall I buy? I'll buy a bar of chocolate. What chocolate? A Galaxy, let's say, whatever. Okay. So the conversation between your thought, you talk to yourself, but in a very natural way. The reply comes spontaneously. Okay, you don't even have to think. Then, if that happens, then it's likely that you'll be talking to the jinn. Thinking is different. Thinking is that what shall I do? And then you think about this and that, whatever. Okay, and that's human. Okay, but if the reply comes from nowhere and is spontaneous, as if you're talking to somebody else, then it's likely that you're talking to the jinn. Commit sins. Okay, obviously the jinn. If you commit sins, then the jinn will be happy. It makes you weaker. You got less protection from Allah, but more protection. So you become weaker, and the jinn will enjoy that. It gives the jinn a better survival rate. Okay, better. You can survive better in that environment. Junk food craving. Okay, craving, haram food craving. When you say craving, okay, you eat more than necessary, or okay, you do not know why you eat. Okay, you crave for something which is maybe sugary, whatever. There are cases where somebody before treatment was drinking a few cans of Red Bull, okay, the high sugar caffeine drink, and after treatment, immediately after treatment, when the jinn goes out, okay, she didn't want to drink that at all. Okay, so that craving actually is food for the jinn, not food for the person. We have got a case of a young girl, I think it was maybe 10 years old before. She was eating 14 slices of bread every morning. After treatment, back to 4. Okay, so who has been eating the other 10 slices of bread? Okay, so you have to look at, okay, your eating pattern. Okay, if you eat more than you need, then obviously it's going to cause health problem to you, but it's good for the jinn, because it's probably the jinn is the one taking the excess food, right, that you do not need. Laziness. If you're lazy, obviously you will not be fighting the jinn. Okay, the jinn will like you to be lazy. It can distract you more by making you lose focus. When you lose focus, then the jinn can overpower your mind. You can overpower your brain, okay? Because your mind is not focused, then the jinn will try to overpower your brain, your central nervous system, and take control of your life. So basically you have lost your life. So if you look at all this, all right, these are things that you can do yourself. Okay, you can reverse. Okay, you can have clean environment. Remember Allah more, socialize more. I mean, don't be a loner. Do good deeds. Eat something which is healthy always. Get rid of laziness. Do some things always. Make yourself busy. So these are things that you can do yourself, which any talking therapy can help you. Okay, if you feel that how do I get rid of my laziness? How do I make myself clean? Okay, there are a lot of talking therapy that will help you to do the opposite of what the jinn wants. So when you do the opposite of what the jinn want, then you can get better quicker if you have problem with jinn possession. When somebody is afflicted by jinn possession, okay, there are many ways where you can get help. Obviously, from the Western framework, okay, there are psychotherapy counseling sessions, okay, which will fix the mind. So how to make yourself more productive, get rid of it, and you get some result. There is also the Islamic psychology based on the Western framework, fix the mind. The mind here means the akal and the qalb. So using Islamic based philosophy practices, not just about thinking, but dhikr and so on, so as to make yourself stronger, make yourself mind stronger, so that you can be more productive. You can get out of the problem of having this mental disorder, of having the issues with jinn. Or you can use the Islamic framework, which not only sort out the mind problem, fix your akal and qalb, but also try to get rid of the jinn. So each and every one of these methods, okay, will give some results. Okay, so it's up to you to use the best therapy to bring the best result. If you have jinn problem, I would say you have got to go through that. Okay, the last one, where you have to fix the mind, your mind, and also try to get rid of the jinn. But how do you get rid of the jinn? It's all about balance of power. So you have to change the balance of power. Okay, if the jinn is strong, you will not be able to defeat the jinn on your own. It's just like you fight somebody who is strong. You can throw one punch, but you get 5 punches back. You'll be fighting a losing battle. If the jinn is too strong that it overwhelms you, self-ruqyah or self-healing will not work. You need somebody to help you to beat up the jinn. You need therapy. You need to find somebody. For example, if you go for ruqyah, the ruqyah practitioner will beat up the jinn, make the jinn weaker. When the jinn is weaker, then you have the chance, a better chance of winning. You can win because the jinn is much weaker. Initially, the jinn was strong. You tried, even you tried. That's why people ask, I pray every time, why does the jinn go away? Because the jinn was stronger. I read Quran every day, but no, the jinn still doesn't go away because the jinn was stronger. Okay, if you have therapy, you get somebody else to help you beat up the jinn will become weaker. Then after that, whatever you do, your prayers, your dhikr will help. Okay, you will be able to get rid of the jinn much quicker with your own effort, inshallah. What about the mind? Okay, as I said, okay, it's not just about getting rid of jinn, but it's also about making your mind stronger. Here we use Islamic existential psychotherapy. Okay, which is psychotherapy for jinn possession. Okay, what is existential psychotherapy? It's one of the approaches of psychotherapy, but it uses philosophy as a means and as approach to therapy. So it can be any existential philosophy. Existential philosophy is about life. Okay, why do you exist? Obviously in Islam we have the answers, but in the West, people who are not guided by religion, okay, we try to find answers to why do we live, why do we exist, okay, where do we come from. So there's a lot of discussions on the existence itself. So there are existential philosophers like Kierkegaard, which bases his philosophy more on the Christian. So you have a leap of faith. You have to have faith in something. Whether you believe or not, if you have faith, then you can do it, then you will achieve that. And regardless of the logic of it, sometimes it's illogical, but if you have faith in something, just do it, you'll get it. So like Kierkegaard will use the Christian philosophy. And God, Nietzsche, he doesn't believe in God. Okay, one day he said, okay, God is dead. So people take his philosophy that God is dead as a means of treatment. How did they do it? They said you've got a problem. Okay, you try to blame everybody, blame God and whatever. Okay, so now God said that don't blame God anymore, because God is dead. So blame yourself. You can fix everything yourself. So that's how Western existential psychotherapy works. by using philosophies, okay, existential philosophy. For Muslims, okay, we don't have to take these Western philosophers, because in Islam, existentialism has been discussed long. A lot of philosophers in the past, 1,000 years before, okay, have been talking about existentialism. It is not something which is new. Okay? It's new to the West, but not in Islam. So we can use Islamic existential philosophy as an approach to treatment of the mind. Why is it important? Because in Islam, okay, in Islamic philosophy, we believe that jinn exists. Jinn can kill a human being. Jinn can cause mental disorder, can cause diseases. The conflict between jinn and human is all embedded in Islamic philosophy. And then about ourselves, the heart as the center of strength in a human, in tasawwuf. So it's already in there. The meaning and purpose of life has been discussed in Islam. We are clear, why do we exist? What's the meaning of life? What's the purpose of life? So by using Islamic existential philosophy, we are more direct in dealing with jinn possession. And also looking at all the Islamic philosophy, okay, like coping mechanism. There are a lot of things that we can take from Islamic philosophy, how to manage this, how to create coping mechanism within somebody. A lot of people who have problems, okay, when will this end? Okay, when will I get healthy? When will Allah will help me? And sort of a lot of questions. And all the answers to the questions are there in Islam. So we have to remember that treatment, okay, if you go for treatment for jinn possession, that treatment only weakens the jinn, okay, it doesn't make you strong. The jinns get weaker, but you're still the same. Unless you do something about yourself, unless you change the way that you think, unless you do something, then you can get stronger. If you get stronger, then you build your resistance towards jinn possession. It will be more difficult for jinn to enter your human body because you build yourself, you become stronger, you become more immune to diseases. Okay, so treatment for jinn possession is not just about getting rid of jinn, but also about strengthening yourself, changing the way that you think. A lot of people have got false belief. Okay, a lot of people believe something, but it's not true. Okay, a lot of people say, okay, somebody sent this to me, whatever. Okay, but how do you confirm? You don't know. It can be false belief, and then during treatment come out to be something else. It's not about sihr, it's about the jinn being love with you or something else. Okay, it's about you changing yourself, and this is where the psychotherapy is very, very important in the treatment of jinn possession. Not just ruqyah plus psychotherapy. And to me, okay, Islamic existential therapy is the best option, because it acknowledges the existence of jinn. It acknowledges that jinn can enter human body, can cause conflict in your mind, whereas Western psychologists want to talk about jinn, and even Islamic psychology, which is based on the Western, they don't want to discuss anything about jinn possession. I think I'll stop there and give people who want to ask questions. Okay.
Yes, I'd like to ask a question, please. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. How are you?
Assalamu
Couple of questions. I know with regards to the connection of sihr and jinn possession, I know it may be slightly unrelated, but can sihr be delivered or done without the use of jinns?
Okay. Can sihr happen without the use of jinn? It depends on, because the definition of sihr actually varies. Okay, a lot of scholars have different definition of sihr. All right. So you have to use one definition. Okay, a definition that you are comfortable with. And I would say most scholars, okay, will define define sihr as an evil act or knowledge, okay, being used to harm someone secretly using jinn as a medium. Okay, so when it says using jinn as a medium, that involves jinn. All right. So it doesn't mean that when you use sihr, okay, the jinn enters a human body. Okay, so sihr doesn't mean that every sihr doesn't mean that the jinn has got to enter the human body. Okay, because there are sihr where the jinn is just outside. Okay, like in the case of Musa alayhi salam. Okay, during his time. Okay, the magicians did sihr. A rope will appear will appear like snakes to everybody, including Musa alayhi salam. And Musa alayhi salam was so scared because it looked so real. It looked so real that it was a snake, but it was just an illusion. So that was sihr, but there was no jinn that entered here, Musa alayhi salam or anybody. Just people saw it as an illusion. Or the case of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, he was affected by sihr. Okay, but no jinn has entered his body. Okay, but because of some frequency, however it works, okay, the frequency that has been caused by the sihr affected the way that he thinks. Okay, he forgets certain things. Okay, and that in science we can prove it. Okay, because our body is like a battery. Okay, there's a lot of electromagnetic waves in our body. If we take an electromagnetic source and push it on our head, okay, it can disrupt the way that we think. This can be proven scientifically. Okay, so you don't have to have jinn to enter the human body to disrupt the way that you think. Okay, so sihr, I think the more dominant opinion is that it uses jinn to perform sihr, but it's not the same as jinn possession. Jinn possession is the jinn entering the human body.
Okay, Jazakallah khair. The other age-old debate and argument is regarding jinn possession itself. There are those in Islam who philosophize, believe that it's not possible. There is no evidence Islamically to say that a person can be possessed. From your research and studies, is there any historical evidence, or even from Islamic sources, hadith and athar, that there's a strong indication that jinn possession, a jinn can enter a person's body?
Okay, all right. How do you define evidence? Okay, well, in the West, evidence is something which is akli. Okay, using the akal. Okay, and a lot of people who try to say that jinn possession doesn't exist just focuses on the nakli evidence. Nakli means something which comes from Allah. Okay, which is the Quran and the Hadith. Okay, whereas in Islam, okay, we do not only accept the nakli evidence but also the akli. Okay, so evidences in Islam is both akli as well as nakli. Nakli means divine. Okay, from Allah. I mean the Quran and the Hadith. All right, and nakli is from our mind. Okay, from akal. Okay, so akli evidence is accepted in Islam. Okay, in the case of Yusuf alayhi salam, if you look at Yusuf alayhi salam, okay, he was accused of trying to seduce or do something bad to a lady. And how was he proven to be innocent? There was a look at his shirt. If it's torn in the front, then he is guilty. If it's torn in the back, then he is innocent. And when they examined the shirt, it was torn at the back, so he was cleared of the allegation. Okay, that's akli evidences. Okay, so in Islam we have to look at akli as well as nakli. Okay, so you can't just say, okay, look at the akli, look at the nakli. If it's not there, then you can dismiss it. The same as trying to prove, is this world flat or is this world round? All right. If you just want to rely on the nakli from Quran Sunnah, a lot of people say, oh, a lot of Quran in the Quran and Sunnah says the earth is spread flat. Okay, so they come to conclusion that the earth is flat. All right, but if you take to the akli evidences, then you see, yes, the earth is round. And there's no contradiction between the earth is round with the knuckly evidences. Okay, so jinn possession. Okay, when trying to prove jinn possession, you have to look at both the akli as well as the knuckly evidences. And I've done a talk on this. Okay, you can look at the video on our website or YouTube channel, and we've discussed this, and I've put more on the akli evidences to support the knuckly evidences. Okay, because it's a knuckly, you will not come to anywhere. People have been discussed for hundreds of years. Okay, but when you look at the akli evidences, it's clear that jinn possession happens. Okay, one example is when we take infrared images, somebody who has got jinn possession before ruqyah and during ruqyah, okay, or after ruqyah. So after ruqyah, the temperature of the person becomes hot by using infrared thermal imaging cameras. Okay, so if the jinn is outside, how can the body becomes hot? The jinn must be inside the body, and the jinn must be burning because of the ruqyah, because of the Quran, and that's why the body becomes hot. You cannot explain it otherwise. So these are akli evidences. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Jazakallah khair.
Does
Any-
anyone?
Sister, can I ask a question?
Yes, please go ahead.
Jazakallah. This is to do with accountability. So, who's accountable? Is it the jinn that's accountable for your actions, or are you accountable for your actions in front of Allah?
Okay, you have to look at the power balance, right? If I say it's all about power balance, right? So the jinn, if the jinn mind is able to overpower your mind fully, 100%, and there are cases, all right, that when I say 100% fully means that you do not know what happened. The next thing you know that something has happened. It's just like when you're sleeping, all right? You can be sleeping, you can be committing murder during your sleep. You're sleepwalking and kill somebody, okay? But you didn't realize, okay? Your akal is not there, all right? So if that is the case, then you're not accountable because you do not even know what was happening. It was not your choice, okay? So we have got a case, okay? Somebody who has got total possession. Well, let's say he works, okay, and at 5 o'clock, okay, he goes out of his office, leaves his office, and the next thing he knew he was at home 9 o'clock, okay, from 5 to 9, 4 hours. He couldn't remember where he went, okay. So during therapy, the jinn says, okay, brought him to somewhere, do something, whatever, and okay. So to other people, he looks normal, like just somebody who is sleepwalking, okay, probably looks normal, okay, but his mind was not there, okay. So if that is the case, when you have total possession, the jinns overpowers your mind and control the central nervous system, and you have got no control, you have got no recollection, you lost the time, then you're not accountable. But if you know what's going on, okay, that's a gray area, right? If you know and you do it willingly, okay, that's a dangerous thing, okay. Some people know, they try to stop it but they couldn't, that's a different case, okay. Like swearing, okay, some people, okay, I want try to stop his mouth from swearing, okay, very very hard, okay, but the jinn swears, okay. So you've done your best, you can't do it, okay, so it's a jinn which was swearing. So in that case, I don't think you'll be accountable, okay. So you have to look at the power balance, okay, how much of the possession is there.
Jazakallah. So you said that the jinn is like a parasite that has to live in your body, but does it also live outside as well? That's why I don't understand, why does the jinn have to possess you to survive?
Okay, you have to look at the reasons. Okay, why does a jinn enter a human body? Okay, the 9 reasons. Okay, so if it's for sihr, to harm you, to kill you, okay, it's easier to kill you from inside. Okay, by creating diseases. Okay, by making you jump out of the window, drink something toxic and kill yourself. If you can do that, okay, easier. Okay, from outside it's difficult. All right. So when the jinn is inside the body, can control your central nervous system. Okay, then it's easy. Okay, it can make you punch your wife, let's say. All right. When you don't even have control, it can make you confused. Okay, and have ill thoughts about other people, and you start quarreling for no reason. Okay, it's easier, whereas from outside is difficult. So you have to look at the reason. Okay, if the jinn is just messing around, okay, just trying to have a good time, then you can just go out after that. Okay, so that's why I think the classification, okay, of trying to know why the jinn is inside the body is very important as well. Okay, the second phase of the diagnosis. Okay, so as to narrow down and to see which jinn actually will want to hang on in your body and which will go away very quickly. If the jinn falls in love with you, okay, it doesn't make sense for it to be outside. You won't be able to have, the jinn will not be able to share your feeling. You will not be able to share the jinn's feeling. Okay, when the jinn is inside the body, it can create that sensation, that emotional response to the person. Okay.
Okay, Sheikh, thank you.
Sheikh, can you answer the question or answer a question about charging for ruqya services? Because some say that there shouldn't be a price point attached to ruqya, that the Raqi should accept a donation. So it would be good to find out more about that.
Yeah. Okay, but charging, okay. First of all, and it's a transaction, okay, a health transaction, okay. So, in any transaction, okay, if the buyer and the one who buys agree, okay, the buyer and the purchaser agrees, then the transaction is valid, right? Okay, in any case, okay. So if somebody wants to go for a ruqyah and somebody says, I want to charge you £1,000, okay, and if he agrees willingly, okay, then it's a valid transaction. Okay, whether it's ethical or not is another thing, okay? But transaction is valid, okay, it's allowed in Islam. All right, so that's one, okay. But the question is not about donation or not, it's about whether the charge is reasonable or not. All right. So if you go to psychotherapist, whatever, or counselor, and get counseling session, and person say, I'll charge you £40, and that's the normal rate, okay, so you will say, okay, I'll accept that, okay, then you can accept that, okay. So the counselor will just talk with you for 50 minutes, and at the end of 50 minutes you get charged £40 or £60, whatever, and you're happy with it. Okay, so that's okay. Same thing is you look for ruqyah as well. Okay, so it's not haram, okay, to charge. Okay, even during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, okay, the Sahaba, when one of the Sahaba went to a tribe, okay, who was the elders, okay, the leader of the tribe was bitten by a scorpion or snake, and he put a price, okay, that, you know, if you can treat, then you get so much, you know, rewards, okay. So that transaction valid, and the Prophet knew about it, and he didn't complain that he said you should have given it free, okay, whereas it was a treatment. So you have to look at that, okay. The people complain, if people complain about price, okay, I don't want to pay, then they shouldn't go, okay, because in therapy, okay, there must be a therapeutic relationship, and that is very, very important in therapy. If you don't agree with donation, if you don't agree with the price, even if you somebody else please donate £5, for this 1 hour session. If you don't agree, there'll be no therapeutic relationship. And if there is no therapeutic relationship, forget about the healing effect of it. Okay, there will be none, I would say. Okay, because for you to get the benefit of treatment, the benefit of therapy, you must have a therapeutic relationship. You must trust the one who treats you. If he charge you £1,000, or charge you £5, if it's just free of charge or donation, whatever, okay, that therapeutic relationship must exist. Okay. So if you disagree with anybody, don't go. You'll be wasting your time, wasting your money. If you don't, even if you go for free, if you don't trust the person, you'll be wasting your time. Okay. So this is about therapeutic relationship. If somebody charges, okay, 40, 50, 60 pound or 100 pound, whatever, and you feel that, oh yes, it's okay, all right, then that's already a therapeutic relationship, and inshallah you get benefit of it. So it's not haram to charge, but I would say those who charge excessively, all right, it's unethical. Okay, it's unethical. It's more on ethics, all right, and yeah, it is subjective. Okay, so don't say it's haram, first of all, unless somebody can prove that from the evidences in the Quran and Sunnah that it's haram.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. Very quick question and observation. We do find often lots of Iraqis in local areas, whether they're imams or otherwise, even young people, and they simply think it's just reading Quran on somebody and there's a reaction, and make themselves out to be therapists or curers or Iraqis. And this is a huge challenge because what you tend to find is some of them do charge extortionately, like it might be £50 an hour, £25 an hour. You just go read Quran, and the person's continuously going there, and we don't want to pass a blanket judgment on everyone, but it does seem to be a popular trade now. Now, I know with yourself with deep experience with the psychotherapy as well, and there's a strategy in the treatment program that you provide, and I've seen it, and there's a long-term goal, short-term goals, and there's some assessment that takes place. It's not just simply reading of Quran. Although even if, and this is one argument, that even if a non-Muslim was to read the Quran or you read it upon them, there may be a reaction. So that's a lot of people, because of the ignorance and inexperience, they don't know, they're just seeking help. They'll just turn to somebody who makes a recommendation and turn up there. So this is one of the challenges I've found. So if you could explain, your treatment program is rather different, I found, in my experience.
First of all, okay, to trigger something is not difficult. Okay, so let's say there is a wasp nest, okay, a hornet's nest, okay, some bees inside there. Okay, you just need a stick. Anybody can just poke a stick in there, and then you get bees coming out. Okay, or the wasps coming out. Okay, or say, oh yeah, there's some wasps there. Okay, but that's just diagnostic. Okay, what about trying to treat? Okay, if somebody who is professional, okay, will know. Okay, we know that there's some bees, some wasps in that nest there. Okay, I want to get rid of that bees safely, so that it doesn't harm anybody else, harm the house where it's in there. Okay, then they will do it professionally. Okay, so this is why knowledge, okay, will differentiate from the unexperienced. Okay, those who do not have knowledge. Okay, to read ruqyah and have a reaction on somebody else, it's easy. You can get a 10-year-old boy to read some verse of Quran on somebody who is possessed, and then the person will have reaction. But that's not the end of therapy. What is therapy all about? Therapy is about getting well. Okay, if you go to somebody and you don't get well, or you get worse, then that's not therapy. If person get worse after therapy, you don't call that therapy. You should go somewhere else then. Okay. If you go to somebody and keep on going there and there's no change, okay, then that therapy doesn't work. Okay, try something else. All right. People can make a living out of this by, putting on YouTube or whatever. Okay, I read some Quran, somebody goes berserk. Okay, I'm a good. No, that's not the aim of therapy. The aim of therapy is not to make somebody go berserk. Okay, to make somebody to control himself or herself, to get better, to make the person stronger, so that the jinn doesn't go berserk, doesn't control the person. Okay, it doesn't mean that if you read Quran, you get a lot more reactions. Okay, the jinn speak that your therapy is better than others. No, it's not. The same like if you go to the dentist. Okay, if you cry or you scream a lot, doesn't mean that the dentist is better. Right? So the reaction is not indication of the effectiveness of the therapy. If anybody claims that his therapy is good because he can cause a lot of reactions from the clients, okay, then that's a false belief. Okay, something which is false. Okay, because what you should look at is, has the person improved? And how do you know that the person improved? Through the symptoms. Okay, if at the start, okay, the person has got 10 symptoms, okay, and then after therapy just become 8, and then 6, and then 2, whatever, or 3, okay, if that goes down, then you know the therapy is working, even though it takes a long time. Okay, but as long as you see that symptom reduces, then you know that therapy is working. And this is what should be put into the mind of everybody, that if you go for therapy, check, okay, whether you have improved or not. If you improve over time, then that's okay. Okay, that therapy is working, regardless of whom you go, whether it's a 10-year-old boy or somebody who's experienced as a 60, 70-year-old man, whatever. Okay, so when we assess ourselves, okay, obviously there will be episodes coming now and then. Okay, people get relapse. Okay, so if you get well and maybe next week you go down a bit, and then you get better again, and then go down and then get better. But if the underlying trend is that you are progressing, that's no problem. That's good. You have to look at the underlying trend, because you can have episodes. You can have episodes every now and then, that relapse every now and then. But how do you judge whether you're getting better or not? Look at the symptoms. If the symptom, let's say, is, you can look in terms of quantity, as I said just now, okay, from 10 reducing to 7, 6, 5, whatever. Or you can look at the intensity. Let's say you got a very strong headache, okay, and then after treatment, just less strong, and then after some treatment, less and less, so you know the intensity of the symptom has gone down. Or you can look at the frequency of the symptom. Let's say you have been dreaming, having bad dreams every day, and after treatment, it's just once a week, and after that's more treatment, just once a month, then you know it's working. So if the intensity or the frequency of the symptoms has gone down, then you know that the therapy is working. And obviously, when the intensity goes to 0 or the frequency goes to 0, then the quantity will go to 0, will go down. Okay. So look at that, okay, rather than look at what has happened during therapy, whether somebody screams or not. Okay, because why does somebody scream? Why does the jinn overpower? That's because the jinn was more powerful, stronger. That the jinn's mind can control the person's central nervous system and make the person, go berserk. Okay, make the person scream. And in our therapy, we try to train the person. Okay, control your mind, stay focused, stop the jinn from talking, stop the jinn from shaking your hands or moving your limbs, whatever. Okay, so put the person back in control. Okay, because it is our body, it's our mind, that our mind should control our central nervous system and control our body, not the jinn. We must deny the jinn from taking control of the body, even by moving the hands or whatever, or speaking, whatever. So you have to train at that. Okay, so I think we have to educate people, okay, how to assess themselves whether they're getting better or not. Okay, so I think the easiest way is look at the symptoms, and if you know your symptoms, you can assess yourself. You don't lie to yourself. Okay, I have these symptoms. I have it. I know I have it. You don't have to have somebody else to tell you, and that's more reliable than you get somebody else to tell you that you're getting better. Okay.
I think Farah had a question to ask, and Mustafa. I'm not sure whether Mustafa is still here.
I do. Assalamu alaikum to everyone. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. I'd like to ask a question that which therapy should we be using first, or can Western therapy and Islamic therapy be used in conjunction? Or can they be used at the same time? How do we decide where to take the patient, whether we should get them Islamically treated or treated in the conventional way? How do we know this?
Okay, it depends on the severity of the problems. Okay, some people have got severe mental problems. Okay, that they can't control themselves. Okay, that most of the time they're not themselves and they get violent, whatever. Okay, then you have to actually take medication. Okay, because that helps to control. Okay, the person. Okay, if you can't control yourself, okay, without medication, then you can't even do anything else, all right? Then you'll just yourself. So medication in that case is necessary, it's mandatory, okay? So don't wait until you're being sectioned, okay? So you feel that things are getting out of control, you're being overwhelmed and nothing helps, okay? Then if medication is the only route, you have to take that, okay? By taking medication, it gives you a breathing space so that you can get the other therapy in place, okay? And keep on with the medication until the other therapy works, and then talk to the psychiatrist or doctor to reduce medication over time. Don't rush, okay? Because if you rush, you will not be able to cope, okay? So it all depends on the severity. There's no straightforward answer, okay? And there's no harm in having different therapy at the same time, all right? So as I said, it depends on the complexity of the situation itself, okay? So the way that our mind work is important, and you have to have your mind strong as well, okay? So you can go for psychotherapy, the Western psychotherapy, to boost your mind, okay, to make you think positively, and that's important as well, okay? So you can go there and you can still do ruqyah at the same time. There's no harm, okay? My only worry is that, okay, if you have a jinn, you go to somebody else who does, let's say, psychotherapy, and the person say, oh, jinn doesn't exist, okay, then it creates more problem with your mind, okay, whom to believe, okay? But if you're clear, okay, I go to this person to train myself how to think positively, how to correct my false belief, then that's okay.
Can a person still achieve their ambitions and become successful whilst living with jinn possession?
Oh yes, definitely, okay. So first of all, the jinn doesn't possess the person 24/7, okay? So you don't have a trance 24/7. Okay, there are times when you can function and there are times when you can't function, okay? So when the times when you function, okay, you do the most as you can. Okay, you try to keep forward, moving with your life. And as you move forward using your life, the jinn becomes weaker because it has to fight you, okay, mentally as well. Okay, so people who move on with their life while still having depossession are more likely to recover quicker than those who just wait for the jinn to leave and do nothing. So we have seen a lot of cases like that, okay, and this is our advice, okay, even if you have this, try to be positive, try to be normal, okay. By being normal, you train yourself to be more focused, you train yourself how to deal with the jinn inside you until the jinn is become weak and the jinn feels hopeless feel depressed that I can't deal with this guy anymore, better just run away and go somewhere else. So yeah, my advice is don't wait until Jinn goes out to pursue your ambition. You can do more than you can. We all have potentials, all right, and we should all try to make full use of our potential. Okay.
And what about those people who are living with Jinn possession or multiple Jinn possession, but they have zero support from their family? They may have damaged, broken relationships with their family members and are isolated, which makes overcoming Jinn possession much tougher.
This is a big issue as well. Okay, support is very important. Okay, because we are not talking about physical support here, mental support. Okay, so if you have a negative environment around you, people are ridiculing you, or doesn't understand the problem that you're facing, the challenges you're facing. Okay, then it's not going to help you. Okay, you'll most likely absorb all the negative effects, and you feel hopeless, and then you feel that you can't do anything, and you go down and down and down, deep further into the problem. Okay, not because of the Jinn, because of the way that you think, because you believe what people say, you think all the negative things. Okay, so if the environment is not conducive to you, all right, you either find a good environment. If not possible, then you have to block all these negative thoughts. You have to train yourself to think that, okay, these people don't understand, okay, what I'm facing too, because they deny that you have a problem, okay, or just simply doesn't want to help. Okay, so whatever, so you have to put a line, the border there. Okay, say, okay, let they say what they want to say. I can live in this environment, okay, but it's the way that I want to live it. It's the way that I want to think. Okay, so there's no harm, okay, in living in an environment which is not conducive. Just like we live, okay, like some Muslims live in a non-Muslim environment, okay, and they can still live where people can drink outside, whatever, okay, but they know that, okay, I'm not going to drink, okay, I'm not going to be influenced by what they say about me, okay, I'll still be myself, okay. So that's very important. Okay, so if you don't get support from your families, whatever, okay, be strong in the way that you think that, okay, nothing will influence you. What they say will not influence you. You're going to be strong. You're going to fight yourself. You're going to make your mind stronger, and you're going to suppress the Jinn until it goes out. Okay.
Would you say that it's better for the person to live alone and separate from their families in order to recover and heal? Because sometimes families can cause more problems than actually offer support.
We have to define what alone means. Okay, if you become a loner, okay, that might be more dangerous, because if you're a loner, then the Jinn side will be influencing you. Okay, so we say alone or away from family are two different things. Okay, if you stay away from the family, yeah, but you still socialize with other people, you still have interaction with others, okay, who are positive, then that's not a problem. Okay, so but living alone, let's say if you don't have any other friends, you just live alone yourself, and you cut yourself from the rest of the world, okay, that can be very damaging, because that will give the Jinn more opportunity to put all the negative thoughts in you. Okay, hate your family, hate your friends, and whatever. Okay, and then at the end of the day, you believe what the Jinn says.
What advice would you give to those brothers or sisters who are living with Jinn possession or multiple Jinn possession, and they're looking to get married? Should they be honest and tell the person that they're hoping to marry that they are living with Jinn possession prior to marriage?
Okay, so should you disclose the problem? I think initially, if you want just to explore, okay, it's about marriage, okay, you don't have to say what you have, all right? Okay, just like, okay, you don't tell everybody every single disease that you have, okay, if you just want to explore, okay. But when you're serious, okay, let's say things are serious, that you got to get married, whatever, okay, and then you should try to open up, okay, certain things, certain discussions, okay, can you deal with this, whatever, okay, just like you have some hereditary diseases, let's say let's say you have thalassemia, okay, which is a blood disorder, okay, if you're carrier, let's say you're a carrier, okay, and then when you want to marry somebody, and then you found that person, okay, nice, okay, and then you find out that he also has got he's also a carrier, okay, so when the two carriers, then probably if you have a child, there's a 25% that your child might be having a full thalassemia, okay, so you have to look at that, okay, so you have to be prepared, okay, if you don't reveal, then sometimes it can cause problems down the line, all right. So the same as jinn possession, right? So initially when you try to explore, okay, you don't have to say, okay, but when you're serious, okay, open up, okay, because otherwise it can cause a lot of problems in the early marriage, and which the husband or the wife, okay, might not be able to handle, all right, okay. Because obviously when you meet somebody, you always show your good side, you smile and everything, okay, but not your real self. Everybody tries. I mean, the person who has got jinn possession or person who hasn't got jinn possession, okay, everybody tries to show the best rather than the reality, okay. But when we get married, okay, we live with reality, okay. So and I think yeah, obviously with marriage, okay, the istikhara is very important, okay, that the decision, okay, which we must not neglect, okay. So the istikhara is the decisive factor as well, okay. So with istikhara, okay, prayer of istikhara, okay, Allah will reveal things which you do not know, okay, or problems which you do not know, okay. So yeah, okay. If you when I say that if you try to ever say everybody at the start of trying to create a relationship, you start telling everybody you got this problem, that problem, okay, you'll not get anywhere anyway, okay. So don't create obstacles before the actual event takes place.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. Does anyone else have any questions to ask? Please unmute your microphone and ask away. Don't be shy. Please do ask your question while we have the Sheikh here.
Assalamu alaikum. I just wanted to ask, you mentioned that someone might have problems with jinn being sent or following them around, not necessarily inside them or anything like that, and they can cause them problems. Is that the same as what was called waswas in the Quran?
It's called what?
Waswas. Waswasi.
Waswasa, okay. Waswasa.
They might have something following them around and hassling them, you know, and following them around, but not actually.
Now, when we talk about jinn possession, people, jinn, we're more specific rather than that. Because waswasa happens to everybody, all right? Okay, because Iblis has vowed to deviate the children of Adam. Okay, so all the jinns outside, only the Iblis outside, the shaitan outside will try to whisper things, give you thoughts which are looks like true, but it's not, okay. So waswasa is actually trying to put falsehood as the same as truth, okay, so that you consider them, all right. So but you can always reject waswasa through knowledge, okay. So you know that, let's say from here to London, let's say from Bicester to London, it takes is 60 miles, okay, and somebody says no, it's 1,000 miles, okay. From knowledge you know that, okay, I'm not going to entertain that, okay. So waswasa by using knowledge you can distract waswasa, but waswasa in what the Quran says is more on the whispers. Okay, all these thoughts which is being whispered by shaitan. It doesn't have to be the jinn. Okay, it can be human shaitan as well. Okay, your friends might be telling you some, something which is evil for you to believe. Okay, so you have to use your knowledge to reject them. Okay, when we talk about jinn following people, okay, these jinns are following people for a certain reason. Okay, there's some attachment, whatever, that it follows the person. Okay, and that's a different case. Okay, so it's more an attachment rather than, a case where I just want to talk to you or to deviate you.
May I ask a question, Sheikh? If somebody's appears normal, they're with you in your home, they're living with you, and they appear normal in all other aspects. But when, for example, sometimes, at home we put the azan on our TV, maybe at Maghrib time or any time, sometimes we put it on. And when they hear the azan, they start shouting and screaming. Is that, and that happens every time, only when the azan is on in a loud voice, obviously on the TV or something. Is that normal, or is that jinn possession, or is it something else?
Okay, so that's probably called reaction to something. Okay, so if you ask him to look at the symptoms of jinn possession that we have, okay, then you'll be able to know whether there's a jinn possession or not. Okay, when a jinn is inside a body, it doesn't just create one symptom, it will create a few symptoms. All right, so the person can be shouting because of historical reason. Okay, in childhood, whatever. Okay, it can be that. Okay, he just hate azan. Okay, for whatever reason. All right, because of the past experience, and that's why it can be that. Okay, which has got nothing to do with jinn possession, or it can be because there's jinn inside there which doesn't like azan. Okay, so you can't make a conclusion without looking at the other symptoms that he has. Okay, and use our symptoms, the 23 significant symptoms, and if he has got 3 or more, then he has got to sort himself out.
And one other thing I'd like to ask you, Sheikh, is if a person starts to lift objects which are obviously very, very difficult to lift for that person, you can tell, and they start lifting these heavy objects and start throwing them around the room or trying to throw them at somebody, is that jinn possession, or is it something to do with mental health? Because you wonder, how did they lift that thing, because they don't have the physique to lift something as heavy as that object, for example, a sofa or something.
Well, you have to look at from the scientific part as well. Okay, if by lifting that it will break his arm, okay, then that's then something you have to worry about. Okay, but if something that is possible, then it might be the person himself. Okay, because every one of us has got a potential which we do not use. Okay, we can run. Okay, we can walk. But we can run faster. We can walk faster. Okay, we can stay awake for 10 hours. We can stay awake to 12 hours. Sometimes we can stay awake for 20 hours. Okay, so there are potential that we can do, things that we can do, but we have not been doing it. But doesn't mean that, let's say if I am able to sleep, I've stayed awake for 24 hours, then there's a jinn inside me. No, it doesn't mean that, because okay, maybe because I have that potential, but every day I just sleep. I just keep awake, let's say, for 14, 16 hours, whatever. Okay, let's say. So you have to look at that. Okay, so everybody has potential which he or she hasn't utilized. Okay, so but if it is something which is extraordinary, then you have to see, okay, what causes that. Okay, so things which are extraordinary doesn't mean jinn possession. Okay, in Islam there are 4 categories of things which are unusual, okay, doesn't make sense, okay, by the law of physics, right? But it can happen. One is mu'jizat, miracles of the Prophet, all right? The only Prophet, okay? Karama, okay? Karama is a pious people who can do certain things, okay, which Allah gives. Ma'una, okay, can happen to people, okay, maybe once, okay. There's a person might be having the ma'una, or it can be istidraj. Istidraj is Allah gives the ability of the person to do something which is extraordinary, but Allah wants to make the person deviate further, all right? So the opposite of the mujizat. Mujizat is for prophets, okay? So istidraj is like Dajjal, okay? Yes, Dajjal has got the power to do things which are extraordinary, all right? Not because he's pious, but it's the opposite. He's not pious. He is condemned, all right? But he can do certain things which nobody else can do, which will defy the law of physics, defy the law of science, all right? So we have to look at all those, okay? So don't come to a conclusion, okay? We look at whether it's possible in science or not. If it's not possible, look at the background of the person. Sometimes it can be the person is able, okay, to do it, all right, for whatever reason. Okay, so yeah.
And I just have just one more question. I know this lady that had an eating and drinking problem, and it gradually got to the point where she couldn't drink anything out of a cup or a glass, and she'd stopped eating completely. And she had so many tests done here in London, in hospital, and they said there's nothing wrong with you. And it got to the point where she was drinking water out of a teaspoon, and she, the doctors couldn't find anything wrong with her. And then her parents took her to a person, a Iraqi, or a sheikh, and when that therapy was done, she gradually became better. Not immediately, but gradually she started to get better. So is that possible? Is that something scientific, or is that jinn possession?
Okay, if the treatment is using Quran, okay, not all treatment using Quran, okay, when people gets better is because there's a jinn inside there, okay, because Quran itself is shifa, okay, so Quran can heal something which is has got nothing to do with jinn possession, like in the case of the Sahaba, okay, who treated the chief of the clan using Surah Al-Fatiha, okay, the chief was bitten by a snake or a scorpion, okay, and by reading Surah Al-Fatiha, the surah becomes an antidote to the poison, okay. There's no jinn involved in there, okay. So Quran is a shifa, okay. So whenever somebody reads or do ruqyah, whatever, okay, the intention is for shifa, okay. So whatever the underlying reason is, whether it's physical or whether it's jinn, whatever, okay. So if you ask Allah for shifa, then Allah will give shifa. If it's because of some, the cells or the organs are not functioning properly, and through ruqyah, through the recitation of Quran, it becomes better, then you can get better. People who get burned, let's say, okay, you can read certain verses of Quran, okay, to heal the burn, okay. So not everything, okay, that gets better through ruqyah is because it was caused by the jinn. And ruqyah also, okay, we should not just limit ruqyah to just jinn possession, okay. Ruqyah can sort out, inshallah, a problem of jinn possession as well as problem which has got nothing to do with jinn possession.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much, Sheikh.
Someone's asked the question, can you tell whether somebody has jinn possession just by looking at them?
Depends on severity. Like, just can you tell somebody who is crazy, okay, just by looking at them? All right. So it all depends on severity.
Assalamu alaikum. Can I just ask about hasad? Why? What is it about it that? How does it actually cause harm to somebody?
Ask about what? Sorry.
Hasad.
Hasad. Okay. Yeah.
Hasad. How does that cause harm? Because that's somebody unconsciously. They might not even be conscious of the fact that they will be actually harming somebody else by their own feelings that they have.
Okay. All right. Okay. Hasad and ayn, all sorts of things. Yeah. You're talking about. Okay. First of all, okay, even like ayn or hasad, okay, there's no consensus, okay, full consensus among scholars of what it is. All right. So you should focus, okay, we should focus on the treatment, okay. So a lot of people will come here and say, I've got ayn, I've got hasad, whatever, all right. And what we have seen is that there's jinn possession, okay. So I've said, okay, there are two stages of diagnosis, okay. The first stage is to establish whether there's jinn inside the person or not, and the second stage is to establish whether what causes the jinn to come in, okay. So some people add hasad, ayn, whatever, okay. But that second stage is not very important, because what you want to treat is, okay, if there's a jinn possession, you get rid of the jinn, and then whether it's hasad or ayn or the jinn loves you or whatever, okay, it doesn't matter, okay, because you are trying to sort out the problem. Get rid of the jinn, like just you get rid of all bacteria or viruses, all right. So try to think of diagnosis using these two stages, okay. Stage one, is there jinn possession or not, okay. If there is, deal with it, okay, rather than trying to come up from the other end, okay, saying, is this hasad or is this whatever, okay, because at the end of the day you still have to find out is there a jinn involved or not, okay. Some people say that, okay, I have ayn and okay, nothing got to the jinn, but when they come, okay, there's a jinn in there. So what they believe as a diagnosis, which is true initially, turns out to be false, okay, because the reason, you can speculate on the reason, okay, but to confirm the reason is not easy, all right. Whereas if you want to check whether there is a jinn or not inside a person, you can come to an answer yes or no with great certainty.
I think I was just more interested in the theoretical question as to, because I hadn't realized, I was looking into the deen, that hasad is such a dangerous thing to have in yourself or for somebody else, or to how dangerous it can be for somebody that has who you feel it for. So I was just interested in how it becomes dangerous, the process, if you had any views on that. Because somebody could be, I mean, hasad is a very human thing. Like if somebody has a nice coat, even children feel hasad because one brother is the favorite and that kind of thing, that it's a very human thing. So people might not even be aware themselves of what they're carrying around with them and what they're inflicting. They might be inflicting on somebody else. They might be totally unaware of it.
Well, psychologically, it will have an effect on
you, but also the one that you feel it for. Because I mean, I've had people say that actually, people can be killed by hasad. Hasad is very, very strong, can be very harmful to somebody else.
Well, when you say harmful, what? If somebody says something bad and then the person gets ill. Is that what you say?
And just not even saying something bad. It's harboring feelings of envy, like what we just call in English envy or jealousy.
Yeah, jealousy, if you don't accompany with action, nothing happens, okay. Let's say you're jealous of somebody, all right, and then you don't do anything, okay, then nothing happens unless you do something, okay. You're jealous of somebody, okay, and then you do something, let's say you're jealous of his wealth and trying to destroy his business, and you do something, and that something is the one you should worry about. Okay, somebody is hasad, okay, I want to destroy somebody, you use sihr, then that sihr is the one which causes a problem, not the hasad itself. Okay, hasad without intention is just within the person.
Okay, then thank you, Jazakallah, for clearing that up.
Lo-
then.
Last two questions, then we have to wrap up because it's now almost 3:30. Last two questions. Naveed Kaleem asked the question, what are the etiquettes of ruqya? Can a male treat a female? The sunnah is to recite and use touch.
Okay, so you have to look at this from the scholar's point of view, right? So everything in Quran, okay, everything, all rulings, okay, must be based on the Quran and Sunnah. Okay, so if you read Tibun Nabawi by Imam As-Suyuti, right? Imam As-Suyuti, okay, there's a book, okay. In there is a ruling on treatment of a person from the other sex. Okay, so man treating a female, male treating female, and female treating male. Okay, so it has been discussed. So all the rulings has been discussed. Okay, and the evidences in there, he put on the evidences that it's allowed, is permissible for a male to treat a female. Okay, if you want, you read that book. Okay, if you don't find the book, okay, we have actually on our website an exact English translation of that ruling. Okay, ruling on treatment from the opposite sex. Okay, so whatever we do, okay, it must be based on ijtihad or fatwa of reliable scholars. Okay, and Imam As-Suyuti is a very well-known scholar, all right, with a vast amount of knowledge. Okay, so we can take his ruling, and his ruling is it's permissible.
Next question. Right, I'm not sure what the person's first name is. HXA asked the question, how do you differentiate jinn possession from trauma response? What if all of the patient's symptoms are just PTSD, which I assume is post-traumatic stress disorder? Also, can health conditions caused by possession be reversed? For example, hair loss, infertility, metabolic problems.
Okay, but trauma, okay, trauma can be caused by jinn possession as well as normal life events, okay, so experiences. Okay, let's say you have been burgled once and you were traumatized by that burglar, okay, and the following night you hear some noise downstairs, you might still have that trauma even though there's no burglar inside there. People who have got jinn possession, okay, may be traumatized by that jinn possession, and then even if the jinn has gone out, okay, he or she might still be traumatized by that. Okay, so you have to look, if you want to know whether that's jinn possession, you have to look at the other symptoms, not just the thing with the trauma. Okay, the other one is about can health conditions be reversed? All right, yes, it's possible. Okay, we got a case of cancer. Okay, I think inshallah, okay, we will publish it sometime in the future. Okay, and somebody has cancer, it's gone very bad. Okay, but through treatment, okay, through treatment, ruqya, just spiritual or Islamic treatment without any modern medication. So, and the result through all this examination again looks like the cell has actually gone down. Okay, and what you say is it's reverse, put it that way. Okay, so it is possible, all right, because okay, you just like infertility. Okay, first of all, what is the cause of infertility? Okay, it might be medical, it might be something else as well. Okay, so the Quran is a shifa. Sometimes you get results which you do not expect from the medical perspective. So always when you have treatment through Quranic methods, okay, have the yaqeen that the shifa is there. Okay, so if you don't have the yaqeen, okay, it's not going to have any effect on you, right? So Quran is a shifa, so you have the true belief, true yaqeen that it will heal, then you get the benefit of it. If you have a single doubt, you will not get any benefit of it. And we have seen cases, strict cases of people, case of cancer. Okay, people, the doctors have said, oh, you will die, I give you 4 months, you will die, and the person didn't die after a few years. And we have got people, we have seen people, one of clients say, oh, the doctor just gave me another month, okay, but after ruqyah, he's still alive after 6-7 years. Okay, so things can be reversed, all right, but the main thing is that, okay, first you must have the therapeutic relationship with the one who's treating you, and then secondly, you must have firm belief that Quran is the one that Quran is a shifa for all diseases, inshallah.
Just wondering, Sheikh, is a female allowed to perform ruqyah regularly upon sisters?
Is female
Because
allowed?
isn't it better for a woman to treat another woman? Because sometimes we also are aware that there are some dodgy rakis around.
Okay, in the world of ruqyah, if you want to become somebody who treats somebody, okay, you have to prepare yourself, all right? Because the enemy is not just something which is physical, okay? So anybody, whether it's male or female, okay, who wants to embark in ruqyah, must first prepare himself or herself spiritually, okay, to be strong, okay, so that it doesn't get attack or effect of the attack by the shaitan, the jinn, okay, because you're dealing with an enemy which you don't see, all right? If you're not prepared, if you don't go the spiritual path, you don't protect yourself, okay, then you can easily become ill, okay, as time goes on, okay. So ruqyah, okay, to become raki, whatever you call it, ruqyah practitioner, I will use the ruqyah practitioner, okay. It's not simply just by reciting the Quran, okay. There's a lot of preparation there, spiritual preparation which you need to embark on before even becoming a practitioner, okay. That's one thing you have to be in mind, okay. I think in every profession, okay, before you embark on any profession, okay, there are preparation. If you have become a policeman, okay, you have to know how to defend yourself. Let's say if somebody wants to attack you using a knife, whatever. So the same with ruqyah, okay, you have to prepare yourself, okay, if you're being attacked, all right. That's one. And then yes, it's good if a lot of female, okay, get involved in this, okay, but as we have seen, a lot of female, they want to learn about ruqyah, but they're not willing to become practitioners because it's not easy. I mean, first of all, okay, they can only perform ruqyah while in the state of purity, okay. The state of impurity which women normally have once a month, okay, they're not allowed to perform ruqyah, okay. So it's good, okay, it's good to have many women, okay, to help women, okay. And I do encourage a lot of women to study about ruqyah so that they can help the other women, female as well. And it's better to learn it in a systematic with knowledge rather than just Google here and there and trying to imitate what others are doing, because it's the knowledge which is important, okay. You want to do something, you must have the knowledge of it, what you're trying to do, what's the theory behind it, okay. That's important. It's not just recitation. It's not just I want to recite Quran and then somebody will scream or whatever, because that's not knowledge, okay.
I may have missed this because I was multitasking at the time, helping my mum. So forgive me if I'm asking a question which you've already responded to. But is a male raki allowed to touch a woman when performing ruqyah?
What's the question again?
Is a male Raqi allowed to touch a female according to the etiquettes of Islam and Ruqya when performing Ruqya upon a female?
Okay, this goes back to the question that I answered just now. Okay, you look at the rulings by Imam As-Suyuti, okay, in his book, okay, Madinah of Prophet, Tibun Nabawi by Imam As-Suyuti, okay, not the other one. Okay, there's a lot of Tibun Nabawi. One is by Ibn Qayyim al-Jawzi, okay, and the other one is by Imam Suyuti. Look, the one Imam Suyuti, okay, he has got the ruling in there, and he says it's permissible. Okay, but what we have to really look into it is so that there's no allegation of misconduct there. Okay, so you want to avoid people saying bad things or fitna, okay, on what you've done. Okay, so always okay, if you need to touch, okay, it's not a touch which can be seductive, right, but a touch which is necessary, right? So it's important to have to bear that in mind. Okay, it's because of necessity rather than because of pleasure. With pleasure of this is haram. Okay, but if it's necessary, then it's mubah. It is permissible. And not my fatwa, okay, but fatwa of Imam As-Suyuti.
Jazakallah khair very much, Sheikh, for your generosity, for staying on for 2 hours and 10 minutes. Subhanallah. Jazakallah khair very much. We're very grateful. It's been incredibly informative and insightful. And can you please share your website details, how brothers and sisters can get in contact with you if they are in need of ruqya or they need to refer someone for ruqya? And I can vouch for Sheikh Hamidi, hence the reason why we've collaborated with the Sheikh to deliver this session. I think this is the second session you've delivered, isn't it, Sheikh?
Yeah, yes, it's the second one, yeah. So yeah, alhamdulillah, okay, there's a lot of interest in this thing, okay. This is a knowledge which we should all pursue, okay, about jinn possession, okay. It's not a fantasy, it's not something that you should avoid discussing in this age, okay, or in this decade or in this century, okay. Because possession, I will say, started in the beginning that there is such thing as a trance and possession disorder in the ICD, International Classification of Diseases. So medically, okay, that category of disorder is there. Possession is recognized to exist, okay, even though there is no medication with it, okay. So psychiatrists will not want to put diagnosis that you have got jinn possession because it's not the domain, and even if they put there, okay, there's no medication for jinn possession, okay. So but from our Islamic knowledge, okay, we have a solution, and we have to make this solution available to everybody regardless of whether they are Muslims or not, okay. So this is where we have to study more, we have to do more research, okay, not just take whatever you have found in the YouTube or in the web or in the books, okay. A lot of the knowledge we do not have, and we have to present it in a very convincing way, based on the naqli and akli evidences. Naqli means the evidences from Quran and Sunnah, as well as the akli, which is scientific evidences based on the reasoning, aqal, okay. So there's a lot of work to be done, a lot of things to be researched on, okay. And I hope everybody not just trying to sort themselves out, but trying to learn, okay, and share their experiences so that all this knowledge can be, compiled and become to arrive at a new knowledge about how to deal with jinn possession, because this issue is getting more, I think, important nowadays, okay. It's more critical. We got people who have got jinn possession who have been committing crimes, okay, just like any people who have got mental disorder committing crime, but because the jinn possession itself is not recognized, so they will put into jail, okay, for things that they couldn't help themselves, okay, because there's no diagnosis there. So the earlier or the more we research on it, and the earlier we make this something accessible, this knowledge accessible to a lot more people, then the more it becomes a common knowledge to everybody. We want to make the treatment of jinn possession available to everybody and part of the mainstream treatment. Okay, so here we at Pisang. Okay, you can Google Pisang. Okay, our website is pisang.uk. In there we have some information. If you need help, you can email us. Okay, email is on the website. But I think more importantly is that we need, okay, to enhance this knowledge. Okay, so don't just think about the problem that you have. Okay, think about the problem other people have. How can they access services like what we provide? Okay, so we are just one place. Okay, but we want to make this something which is global. Okay, and I think everybody can play the part. Okay, in this. Okay, but most important thing is try to separate knowledge from myth. Okay, so knowledge from hearsay. So in Islam, everything is based on grounded knowledge. Okay, and if we have grounded knowledge, we can believe, we can prove using akli or nakli evidences or both. Okay, then inshallah Islam will prosper. Okay, so by providing treatment for jinn possession to Muslim, non-Muslim, we are indirectly doing da'wah. We are telling the whole world that okay, Islam has got solution to everything, whether you are Muslim or not.
We actually have a non-Muslim on here, Surinder. I'm not sure if Surinder is somebody I used to study with at university. Surinder, sorry to put you on the spot. Did you want to ask a question? Because not sure whether you'll be familiar with the terminology. Okay, I take that means no. Okay. Just wanted to say that at FabMinds, we run a Black and Asian and ethnic minority women's only mental health support group. So please do get in touch with me if you'd like to join the Black and Asian and ethnic minority women's mental health support group. You can contact me on mobile number 07967136035. And it's really a non-judgmental, confidential space for women to talk about their mental health challenges. Okay, so assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. I really appreciate you taking the time out for this session. It was very informative. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Yeah, everyone is saying Jazakallah khair very much for your time, Sheikh.